Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 9. Module 9 is the next step in our research project, and so you're going to start working on the research essay itself. Let me show you what Module 9 is going to look like here. So in Module 9, we've moved past the annotated bibliography, which is all the research that you've done for your project. And now we're getting into what are we going to do with that research and how are we going to put it together in an essay form. So you can see you've got just a couple of things to work on here. That annotated bibliography took quite a bit of effort to finish, and so this module is just a little bit easier for you. And again, we're just starting to plan your essay, and then of course you can start drafting your essay at any point. But you might want to wait until you get a little bit of feedback, particularly on your outline. So the Module 9 readings, which you'll have a quiz over, are primarily about building effective paragraphs and planning argument essays, things like that. So most of this information should be review from Comp 1, some of the stuff that we have done earlier in the semester. Some of it's just like basic essay writing stuff, but I want you to review all of this before taking the quiz, obviously, because we want to make sure that you're aware of everything that's in those specific chapters. Sometimes a chapter might discuss something a little bit differently from what you've been taught before, and it may make a little bit more sense that way. And so I encourage you always to go over those readings. Then we get the research essay criteria. So this is the criteria for the actual essay. I don't think you've seen this yet, but this is, there's just been kind of an overview of what you're going to be doing. This is the essay itself. Now the essay itself is not due for another couple of modules, so you have plenty of time to be working on this, but this essay is going to be the hardest essay in the class. It's going to be the longest essay in the class, and the one that you need to be spending the most time thinking about. So what you're going to be doing for this essay is taking the topic that you chose for your annotated bibliography, which would be the topic that you did your topic proposal over, and you're going to now turn this into an actual essay. So keep in mind that you can't change your topic at this point. You can narrow it or you can broaden it from whatever you did for your annotated bibliography, but you can't change it completely. So if you were interested in like green energy sources, for example, and in your annotated bibliography you did all green energy sources and you decided for your paper you just want to focus on solar energy, that would be fine. Or you go the other way around and you were focusing on solar energy, but you decide you want to look at all energy sources, that's also fine. Usually I tell students your annotated bibliography will want a little bit broader of an idea, that way we can narrow it down. Most students end up focusing just a little bit their information. And so as long as you're not changing, you can't go from green energy to hummingbirds or something. You have to stay within the same topic idea. So you're taking those sources that you use from your bibliography. You don't have to use all of those sources. You can find new sources, that's fine. It does, if you find all new sources, it sort of made the annotated bibliography pointless, but you technically could do that. I'm not going to look back at your bibliography and make sure you're using those sources. So really at this point, it's just kind of what's going to fit into your essay. The essay itself is going to have an assertion to it, or you can make an argument. There are very few students who end up with an actual argument essay, one where they cover opposing viewpoints and refutations and things like that. Most students end up going kind of an assertive route. And what that means is they've got kind of a general topic, and they want to make an assertion about it with regards to that topic, which means that they're trying to make a point about it, that they have some kind of a focus or a purpose to that, but they're not actually making a multi-sided argument. So if you're planning the assertion route, I want you to think about what is it about your topic that is most important, and what do you want to assert to your reader throughout the essay? What do you want them to think about differently by the end of the essay? What can they learn from it? That would be a good place to start. Some of you, it will be pretty obvious how you're going to put it together, and some of you may have to think about it a little bit. So the final draft of your essay, we have that clearly stated thesis at the end of the introduction paragraph. Your introduction paragraph should be a lot more developed than we've worked with before, so you can start with a good hook and that kind of thing. You want to make sure you are defining your topic clearly and giving us a good sense of what it's about before you get, to the bottom of the first page. We should be pretty clear about what your essay is about and what sort of assertion you're going to have. You do need to use at least 8 credible sources. You can use more than that. You cannot use less than that. So you want to make sure that if you did the annotated bibliography correctly, you now have 12 sources that you could use. You could narrow that down to 8. Some students use all 12. Some students go find more. It's up to you. But keep in mind that every source on the Works Cited page needs to be in the essay somewhere and cited using either an in-text citation or a signal phrase. And all of those need to be correctly formatted in MLA style. Stop using APA. You want to make sure that you have a clear and effective pattern of organization. Typically, we start with what's most general and move to what's more specific, or what's least complex to most complex, or some of you get to go in chronological order. Those of you who chose like a person can do like a biography or something. Make sure that if you have opposing viewpoints, you have acknowledged them. And if you're going to do a multi-sided argument, that we have that aspect of it. Make sure that your paper is not biased. If you have a heavily argumentative topic, you can either take a neutral tone with it or you can use an argument, but you cannot not cover the opposing viewpoints if you're going to do an argument. And you want to make sure that, of course, you're avoiding second person. Some of you have personal experience with your topic, so you're more than welcome to include that. That first person is fine, but you should only include first person if you have personal experience with the topic. And then the other thing to remember is that you should not be copying any part of the annotated bibliography in any form other than the works cited entries. You are not going to use the same introduction paragraph. You are not going to be copying each paragraph from the annotated bibliography and trying to fit it into an essay somehow. There should not be any crossover between the two. They're two separate assignments. They're two separate purposes. And then the length is 7 to 9 pages. So 7 pages, all of you have topics where you can get 7 pages. Some of you will need to work on really developing your thoughts and providing more examples to get to that point. So what you're going to do at this point is an outline. An outline is, I want a formal outline of your research essay. You have a working thesis. You're going to go through the main ideas that you want to cover in the essay. You should use the Roman numerals and then the letters and numbers, etc. So to make it an organized formal outline, I have an example in here, and you're more than welcome to just use this file if you want and then write over mine. I have dinosaurs as my topic, and so I've got my overall working thesis. You don't include anything from the introduction except the thesis, and it's a working thesis because obviously it's just your plan. And then everything else is written out in either complete sentences or complete thoughts. And then you can also include, if you need to, quotes. Sometimes there's something that you really, really want to make sure that you include in a section. So you would put that, make sure that you remember which source it came from though. And then you go through however many main points you think you're going to put in your essay. I would recommend going beyond what you think you're going to need. So at least 5, if not 6 or 7 main points. When you get to writing the essay part, you may end up with fewer, and that's fine. It's usually easier to just kind of narrow down or cut things out than it is to have to go the other direction and expand. So give yourself more to work with than you think you'll need. And the main purpose of the outline is just to get ideas down, but also to start working with what's the order that's going to work with best. So most students have to start with like a history section or a definition section before they move into the actual topic. And so you will have a section like that and what order would be best to go in. And then that might affect what order your thesis is in. So that is the module. If you have any questions at all, make sure that you send me an email, and make sure that if you are struggling at all with how to put your essay together, that you send me an email right away so that I can help you out with this outline. Have a great week.